Assalamu alaikum everyone. I welcome you today to the beginning of the course Traffic Engineering, and today we'll start with chapter 1, which deals with the introduction to the profession of traffic engineering. So we will be talking about what are your duties and responsibilities as a traffic engineer. So let us begin. So traffic engineering comes under the umbrella or comes under the discipline of transportation engineering. So let us first of all define transportation engineering, and the definition which is quoted here is given by ITE, Institute of Transportation Engineers, which is a very well-known organization among traffic engineers and transportation planners. So according to them, transportation engineering is the application of technology and scientific principles to plan and to design and to operate and manage any facilities which are dealing with transportation, and these facilities can be related to roads or railways or airports or ports, ships. So transportation engineering deals with all modes of transportation, and while you are doing all these things, you are trying to make these facilities safe, you are trying to make the transportation system as rapid or as fast as possible, and you are trying to make it comfortable for the users, you are trying to make it convenient for them to approach these facilities. So in terms of their access, in terms of their approach, or in terms of their entry to the system. For example, you have an airport, so how easily you can reach to the airport. So we are talking about that convenience. And then obviously there's the problem of economy as well. You have to look at the type of users that will be using the facility and how much they can afford. And then you have nowadays the environmental considerations. So we are looking to reduce the environmental impacts as much as possible, and we are trying to make the facilities environmentally compatible. So what we mean by compatibility is that we try to uh, reduce the exposure to the people as much as possible. So the residential areas will become our main focus. Okay, so we want less impacts on people, especially where they are living or where they are hospitals or where they are educational areas, because these are more sensitive areas. So this is what we mean by environmental compatibility. There are some areas in which we allow higher environmental impacts of transportation systems. For example, rural areas, the areas which are outside the boundaries of the cities, and the industrial areas. Okay, and obviously these transportation systems are aimed at the movement of people and goods. Now moving forward, ITE also gives us a definition of traffic engineering, which is somewhat similar to transportation engineering, but you can see here, while we are talking about planning and design and operation and management, we are now focused on one part of transportation systems, which is roads, streets, and highways. Okay, so the traffic engineering is basically planning and designing and managing traffic which will operate on roads, streets, and highways. And then obviously you need the auxiliary systems as well with that, the complementary systems, uh, such as the networks of roads and the networks of uh, taxis and buses and these things. And then you have the terminal facilities, parking areas, bus stops, bus terminals, and you have the abutting lands, the lands which are beside the roads. So these are part of your design. They should be part of your planning. And obviously then highways are more important than other systems because they support other modes of transportation. For example, in getting to the airport, you need to go through the highways. Similarly, in getting to a bus stop, obviously you need the facility to get to the bus stop, and that facility is normally a road. Okay, so highways provide the support, necessary support for other modes of transportation, whether they are railways or airports or ports. So while you are designing and planning for highways and traffic, you need to consider how these can support to the best of their ability to other modes of transportation. So now let us talk about the objectives of transportation or traffic engineering. And the primary objective is safety. And why we are keeping safety at the top? Because it's understandable. First of all, safety is always the primary objective for any discipline of engineering, whether you are designing buildings or bridges or anything else. But in terms of traffic or for traffic engineers, safety is a bigger issue because of the statistics which you see on the slide here. So you can see it is the second most prominent but a preventable cause of death worldwide. Okay, so you can prevent it, but it is still causing so many deaths. So whenever you have a road accident and you analyze it, you will find that there was something you could have done to prevent it. It is not like you had a heart attack or something like that. Okay, or it's not like an earthquake where you cannot do anything to prevent it. Road accidents are preventable, and but still there are so many deaths, and according to WHO, it has been labeled as a killer disease, although it's not a disease. It takes the life instantly, but still, because they don't have any other terminology for that. Just to give you an idea about the number of people who are involved in accidents, traffic accidents take 1.35 million lives every year across the world, and there are about 50 million people who get injured. And and these are the people, most of them are become disabled because of accident. They lose their hands, or their legs, or they suffer some other sort of loss which is permanent. And looking at the previous trend, they said that they are increasing, the accidents are increasing. Okay, and whatever they had in 2015, they are expecting it to increase by 67% in 2020, so by the end of this year. But still we don't know what happened, because this particular statistics was from 2015, so maybe they have got a hold of that. And traffic accidents are a bigger problem for young people, so you guys must be careful while you are studying traffic engineering. Try to take some useful tips from the course, so you can be more safe and keep others safe as well, because it is the leading cause of accident among young people, and they are in the age category of yours, 15-29. And most of the victims who are getting killed and injured in these accidents, they are not only inside the vehicles. So you may say we are making the vehicles safer by using airbags and seat belts and so on and so forth. But the problem is not only inside the vehicle. We are losing a lot of people outside the vehicle, pedestrians and cyclists and motorcyclists. And actually these people are known as vulnerable road users, because they are open to all sorts of injuries. If they get hit by a car, they get hit by anything, even if they just drop on the road, they have bigger chance of getting injury on the head or serious injury, or getting hit by other vehicles. And these road accidents cause head injuries, which are the severe, most severe type of injuries. And by 2030, with the current trend, they are expecting that it will become the 7th leading cause of death across the world for all age groups. So it will become a common problem for everybody. So keeping all these facts in mind, they announced the current decade, as the decade to do something for road safety, and their target was to reduce the traffic deaths and injuries by 50%. Whether they have achieved it or not, we have yet to see that, because obviously the decade has not finished, and even after it finishes, it will take like a couple of years to gather the data and then see what has happened. So this was the primary objective, and obviously you cannot forget about other things. So other things include the speed, like I told you, And speed is a relevant term. Obviously, we are talking about roads, so you are not expecting a speed of 200 kilometers per hour, what you get with a plane, or like with the state-of-the-art rails. So speed is a relevant term. So we want the speed which is expected by the user. We want to give him the expected speed. The travel time should be within his expectation, the traveler's expectation. And then comfort. Okay, so we need to make sure that when the riding quality of the road is sufficient, the delays are not driving the drivers crazy. This is what we mean basically. The roads and the traffic system is not driving you crazy. You are still in your senses. Okay, so comfort as much as possible. Convenience, I told you, which is the access to the facilities, how easily you are allowing the users to access the facilities, how easily he can come to the main highway, how that highway is connected to the facilities which are of use to him. Okay, the banks, the hospitals, the usual sort. Economy, you know uh, so you are making a trip and it is unusually long, or you are taking too much time on the road because of congestion, then obviously it is hitting you economically as well. You are losing time, and time is money. You are losing fuel, and fuel obviously you have to buy. And then there's the problem of environmental compatibility. So now they are doing a lot of research and doing a lot of progress in vehicle technology and how to reduce the emissions from vehicles. And then they have these uh, green belts along the roads to reduce the emissions and noise pollution and so on. Okay, so these are other objectives which you have to keep in mind. Even as a traffic engineer, you have to keep them in mind. Okay, what are your responsibilities, ethical responsibilities, and how you are liable to your clients and customers? Okay, so there are few things which you have to understand when you are to get the sense of your responsibility. The main difference between a traffic engineer and any other sort of engineer is the number of users who are using your design facility on routine basis. On in a peak hour on any sort of a highway, you have thousands of drivers who are driving on that highway in 1 hour peak hour. So you can imagine how many drivers would drive on the whole in the whole day, and then you can multiply it with the whole year. So you can imagine how many people you are affecting with because of your design and because of your management, and on what basis these drivers are coming on daily basis to your facility. So it's not like I come to the building, I don't like the lift, and I go back and I take the stairs for once. No, it's a road. If you do not design it properly, you are not managing it properly, the people are getting affected every day. Okay, and especially when they are going to their offices and schools and universities. So you can imagine you are affecting their productivity. So it is your responsibility to, you have to understand your responsibility. It's a huge responsibility. Okay, so you have to keep on increasing your knowledge, get acquainted with the state of the art technologies to make sure that you can how you can enhance safety within the resources which you have. Then the other problem which you would face as a traffic engineer is the number of participants. Designing and managing a road involves a lot of people. Okay, and I just talked about the number of drivers. These are all participants. These are all participating to your design. Okay, you have to consider all these thousands of drivers, and then you have people in the ministry, and you have traffic department, and you have organizations which are giving you money and so on, designers and contractors and all these things. So you have to think about all of them, but all of them are not traffic engineers, so you have to think about them, but they cannot think from your perspective. Okay, so that's again a problem. Okay, so and you have to deal with them productively, because in the end you have to do your job. So you cannot just get in fight with everyone and just let them be. It's not a building that you will just leave it and go to some other place. No, it's a road. It has to be built, and you have to deal with all the conflicts with other people, because they do not understand you. But still, you have to go on with your job. Okay, sometimes these people have naive assumptions. Okay, because of their lack of knowledge, they take things very seriously, like it is mentioned here, in an oversimplified manner. Okay, so wherever there's a problem, put a signal there, or wherever there's a problem, put a bridge there. Okay, so a bridge is not the answer to a congestion problem everywhere. Okay, but other people may think like that, and these people may be important to you, important to your project, or important to your management, or important to your organization. So you have to deal with all of these things productively. You have to work with them, you have to make them understand, or you have to, you know, get their consent and agreement in some sort of way, so you can go on with your design. Okay, and then you have your own professional ethics and codes. You have design standards. Okay, Behran has its own design standards. Okay, and you have the ethics which they teach you. Okay, even during your engineering programs they teach you. Okay, so you should take heed of that. Okay, so what does we mean by ethics? That first of all, focus on your area of expertise. Okay, like finance and, you know, economics and management and construction management. These are affecting your project, but these are not your areas of expertise. Okay, so you have to trust that other people. This is part of the ethics. Okay, you don't put your nose everywhere. You do your job completely and thoroughly. Don't leave anything don't leave any page unturned. Okay, so make sure you have given your 100%, or like nowadays they say 110%. I don't know how you do that, but you need to do that. You have to be honest with everybody, not just with your client. Okay, you think that, okay, client is giving us some money, so we have to be honest with that and let the other be. No, you have to be honest to everybody, because you are affecting their lives. Okay, so your own employees and the public. Okay, you have to take all of them into account, and you have to be honest with them. If there are some because of your design, the area will change, it will have some negative impacts, you have to be honest with them. Obviously your project will have some positive impacts as well, but you cannot hide anything. Okay, so try to work as best as possible. This is part of the ethics. And you have to protect the community from any liability. Community is basically the ministry or the administration which is in charge of the traffic system. Okay, so if you are not doing your job properly, they are liable to you know, respond to public. Yeah, this highway is having a problem, who will respond to them? Maybe the Minister of Transportation. Okay, he is the office holder for the public, so you have to, you know, save them from this liability. Okay, by practicing your profession properly. Okay, and because of the importance of the transportation sector, it has been made as part of the sustainable development goals by United Nations in 2015. If you go towards Tubli, you will find their office as well. You can go there, they can brief you what they mean by that and how much they are working on this field. Okay, one more aspect that you have to look, and this again deals with the problem of naive assumption or oversimplification. Okay, sometimes you build a road to reduce congestion, and you feel that now we have 2 lanes, make it 3 lanes, it will solve the congestion problem. But what happens normally is, you do some road building, you increase the number of lanes, or you build a new road, and people, you know, because now with the new road or with the expansion, they have more space, so they may be taking extra trips on that highway. Maybe the people who are not coming to this route, now they are coming because they feel now it's a new road, so we can, you know, fly over it literally. So it increases the demand of the road, the use. Okay, so we call it the induced demand, the demand which is induced because of the expansion in the road network. Okay, and again, if the demand keeps on increasing, eventually you will face congestion again. Okay, so you have to be careful about that. So this makes your life more complicated as a traffic engineer. Okay, there's a term which we use, which is known as due care, and That basically means that you have to justify all your actions and all the planning which you have done on some objective basis. Okay, nothing can be arbitrary. You cannot say because I feel like that, so, or it seems correct to me. There's nothing based upon your judgment. Your judgment should be supported by some evidence that I am building a new road here because these are my calculations, and if the new road is built, this is what is going to happen. Or you can refer to some other city, that in that city they did this sort of a step. They did a new signal, new type of signal, and this is what happened. Okay, for example, in Bahrain they recently started the flashing green signals in 2019 actually. So they did a study before they put these flashing green signals on more than 100 locations. They did a study on 2 locations. Okay, flashing green signal is already used in other countries, but you cannot go by that evidence, because these are other countries, and wherein they may have some other problems. So in order to uh, execute their plan, they needed some evidence. So they did it on 2 locations to gather the evidence, and then they went on with the bigger plan, installing it all across Bahrain. So this is what we mean by Duke here. Okay, you cannot just copy paste things from other locations, or you cannot just go by your own judgment. You have to support it with evidence. These are the references, the books which are important for this course. Most of them are handbooks. Okay, so they continue they contain the standards which we are going to use in the course. Okay, so you have the traffic engineering handbook. Okay, most of them are from American standards. Okay, so but if you have the textbook, the latest textbook, I think it was published in 2019. So if you take that, I think it has parts from all these standards. Instead of buying all these standards, you can go with the textbook.